Just run up in between his legs, then aim down at is knock him down with one grenade. Or just directly fire forward with a grenade. Pay very special attention to the arc range of different grenades, because some grenades travel closer than others. Some grenades do not travel very far. In order to dodge this zombie, you just want to run forward one step and then start backing up. If the lunge fails, then plant your back flat on the wall and run around him in a 90-degree circle. Run around him in a half circle. Just totally ignore the dog that comes out of the bushes. There's the battery pack. And another first aid spray. The general idea is to try to pick up items where Jill does not have a bending over animation. Because every time you bend over to pick up an item, it costs an extra 3 seconds as opposed to not bending over to pick up an item. So if it's on the floor, you should probably avoid it. For the weather vanes, you have to set the red one to west, and the blue one to north. They may run a little bit faster or slower. We're heading up to our first encounter with Lisa. It's funny, in the original Resident Evil 1, all you had to do was push a stepladder up against a shelf to pick up a crank, but instead we're heading up to our first encounter with Lisa to pick up a crank, but instead they just put a door there, and then it leads to this big long winding path where you have to go and encounter a monster that is completely new to Resident Evil HD Remaster. Well, not new to Resident Evil HD Remaster, but new to the remake. New to the GameCube remake. I'm gonna go ahead and drop off the armor key. We will no longer need that. Instead, we're just going to hold on to some of these extra grenades. For Lisa, this is what you have to do. You have to hold up until you see she's about to move, and then backpedal. It generally takes about one step before she starts to move. But basically, the second you see her forward swing start up, is pretty much the second you back up and try to be really careful about where in her forward swing you move forward, because even at parts of her swing where it looks like there should be absolutely zero momentum, you will still get hit and you will still take full damage. Like at the very top point of her swing, you will take about a third of your health if it connects, because the active damage frames are still going. As well designed as the hitboxes are, the active damage frames in this game, not so much. So these dogs do not spawn until after the Brad cutscene. So what you have to do to squeeze past them is hold up. That's literally it. Just hold up until you reach the stairs. Maybe veer to the right a little bit so that you can actually climb the stairs. But all you have to do is hold up, and you just push right past the little gazebo and the dog. Now you just have to drain the water, and that was pretty much the only thing standing between you and the guardhouse. So we're just gonna go straight to the guardhouse now. If you only use first aid sprays throughout the course of the run, you should be pretty safe. So the spider up there, basically what you need to do is try to pick up the red book on the bar top as quickly as possible. That spider is actually not very aggressive. Don't even bother with pushing the box there. Instead, what you need to do is you need to break out of the tentacle grab, and that can be easily accomplished by rotating the left analog stick and mashing the run and confirm buttons. That would be X if you're playing with controller type B on a PS4 or PS3 controller, or the X and A buttons if you were playing with a 360 or Xbox One controller. Go to the room where there's a dialogue with Barry. That would be room 003. Room 002, excuse me. It's room 002, not 003. and then go to the bathroom and pick up the 001 key. Now we are going to run back to room 001 to use the 001 key, then go to that bathroom and pick up the control room key. Rotate the analog stick really hard, mash square and X. Very easy to go through. Don't even worry about these zombies or the other zombie with the noose. Just grab the key and leave the area. Although, if you explore the room before, you could get the self-defense again, but I would only recommend that if you're playing through the game casually. Just don't even bother picking up any more ammo. Overall, you only need to kill... You only need to kill probably 5 or 6 monsters. We've got the dogs, the Crimson Head, Plant 42, the Giant Snake. Then there's Tyrant and Super Tyrant. Otherwise, you absolutely do not need to kill anything else. So don't even plan around it. Instead, just plan around figuring out how to get past them. Treat all the enemies as obstacles. For the zombie in the previous room, just nudge to the right a little bit. Nudge towards the left side of the screen, but it would be turning to the right a little bit if you were playing with the tank controls. Then push the bookshelves once each to get access to the ladder, where you can climb down and push these boxes. Which he drops after you opt to not give Barry back his gun. For the sharks here, just run the outer path the whole time, but try to hug the railing a little bit. Hugging the railing a little bit does cut down on your overall travel time, and it also, for some reason, the sharks will not... For Crimson Head, you need 3. Also, for some reason, the sharks will not actually try to attack you. It drops the chances of them actually attacking down to maybe 2%.
pressure detected. Locking all
Even if they do attack, though,
Emergency. Unknown source of pressure detected. Locking all doors to achieve maximum safety.
if you're going for world record strats, then you should only have maybe 1 or 2 first aid sprays.
Reaching 30% of pressure threshold. Reaching 30%.
So you try to lower the shutter, then turn off the safety, try to lower the shutter again. Check the whiteboard, change the oil pressure,
50%
hit the
of
safety.
pressure threshold. Activate emergency drainage system immediately.
Check the whiteboard, change the oil pressure, hit the safety, then hit the shutter again, then drain the water. Now we're going to go directly to the gallery key to pick that up. There's 2 ways to get the gallery key from the shark. You can either electrocute the shark, or you can do the Neptune skip, which is where you just jump into the water and go directly to pick up the key before Neptune eats you alive. It's actually a lot easier than it looks. All you have to do is drop into the water, then hold up left. And you will dodge the shark immediately, as long as you hold up left. Straighten out after you are 90 degrees to the left from where you were initially facing while running. And then just hold up and mash the confirm button to pick up the key. Don't turn before you move, and don't use the new analog controls, because if you do that, then you are going to fail the shark skip and you are going to die. You'll notice I do a little quick turn at the ladder here. That's actually not faster. What you should be doing is turning a little towards the left. Because Jill will rotate 90 degrees to the left in 1 frame if you're facing even a little towards the ladder when you start to mash for it. You can dodge the zombie on the way out here. Or we could just use a defense item. But because Jill's hitbox is smaller, it does actually open her up to a dodge. One that I actually started sort of getting used to after I completed this run. But it's just as well to stab a defense item into his head. All you need to do is make him lunge, and at the end of the lunge he will lose push priority. Then you can push around him and then head for the gallery room to grab the pesticide. Here's another place where you may or may not save time due to RNG. After you pick up the map, make sure you start to mash the cancel button furiously before going into the menu to use the pesticide. So those bees may actually die faster or slower, but it's all dependent on RNG or random number generator stuff, which is completely out of your control. Sometimes the bees will die quicker, sometimes they will die slower, but that cutscene is not a fixed amount of time. The bees will either die faster or slower, and you will probably save or lose a second because of it. But now that the bees are dead, grab the 003 key and solve the red book puzzle. But first equip the grenade launcher with the flame rounds. Swap 1 with 4. Swap 6 with 3. Swap 1 with 4, swap 7 with 3, then swap 6 with 2. So the laboratory is pretty straightforward, especially with Barry's 44 Magnum. The first zombie here can be dodged by using the corner lunge strat, like you did with the zombie in the second floor east stairway. And then his buddy afterwards is just a puker, so you have to shoot that zombie pretty much no matter what. And by pretty much no matter what, I do mean no matter what, because you have to clear a path when you have the so it is imperative that that zombie dies. The login is John. first password is Ada, A-D-A. And then to unlock B2, you need to type in Cell, C-E-L-L. Both B2F and B3F need to be unlocked. Most of the rooms that you actually have to visit are actually totally inconsequential, so we can avoid them. All we're trying to do is just go directly towards the tyrant and beat the tyrant. As long as we are going directly towards double doors, we can completely avoid it. Then we can go to the media room. The password to this panel here is 8462. You don't need the first aid spray there. So now we're going to rapid fire our way back down the stairs. As long as that zombie is dead, we don't have to keep trying to get him to lunge at us. But we also can't take any damage in the nitro canister run. I would kinda sorta recommend it, but you actually don't have to if you know what you're doing. If you can get him to vomit, then you don't need to kill him. But that chimera needs to die. And after we kill the chimera, we'll just use the first aid spray and equip the knife. Because our running and gunning is over. For now, anyway. You run as fast with the knife as you do without a weapon equipped at all. That's something I really should have done at the very beginning of this commentary, but I didn't. Your running speed is affected by the weapons you have equipped. Having a knife or having nothing equipped at all is faster than having a gun equipped. So just unequip your gun when you're using it, as a cardinal rule. Believe me when I say you're not going to take any more damage for the rest of the run. So for the nitro canister, that was an accident. For the nitro canister, you need to 3 steps, walk 3 steps. But keep in mind that the counter does not reset every time you go through a door, because if you continue running, like if you ran 3 steps and then you run another 3 steps as you open the door, then you will blow up. Not in the GameCube version. The GameCube version, the timer will reset. The step counter will reset. But if you ran steps opening the door, then you ran another after the door, you will explode. So just alternate between 3 steps walking, 3 steps running, and keep that in mind, and you will be... Once you put that in, you can just go for the power switch of the elevator, and directly for the final boss. You don't even need to worry about these chimeras either. That's why I really haven't said anything about the chimeras either, because they're actually less dangerous than they look. The only times that they are actually going to have a chance of hitting you is if their bodies are completely to the floor, and they can just like hook at your legs a little bit, or if they're on the ceiling. But if they're on the ground, then all they can do is do like this overhead swing that will generally completely miss if you just run straight by them, because overhead swing is really just a it's just too slow. That's really all there is to it. So the final enemy that you have to kill in the Jill run is the Tyrant, and you can do that with the 44 Magnum. zombies in the lab in the circular area will be replaced by chimeras. But once again, chimeras not dangerous at all. Just run from point A to point B, and it's like they aren't even there at all. Or you can just run the nitro run path and just avoid them completely. We've already killed the final boss, and now we just need to go to the heliport and use this portal. Signal rockets. That's the enemies you have to dodge. That's literally the entire one. Excuse me, that's it. So, if you have followed everything done in the run to a T, which is actually a lot easier than it looks, then you can just pick up defense items and steamroll your way through everything. And it is actually not very difficult to finish the PC version in under an hour 40 with these strats. If you're just brute forcing through everything with defense items, then you will be perfectly fine. I'll probably make a more in-depth tutorial a little later. For now, though, this is pretty much it. So,
Jill?
1 hour, 23 minutes, and 10 seconds. So that's it then. If you're looking to get the rocket launcher, this is probably the easiest way to do it. But if you're totally new to the game, like I said, go check out the rest of my channel.
Jill, you did a fine job.
No damage videos that you will probably enjoy watching, because said no damage videos, you don't have to do any of these crazy dodges.